Welcome to Talk Around Riyadh, the Wheel of Time showcast. I am your host, Joe Perry. According to Podchaser, that's all. No, I'm here with my co-host, Jen Isgro and Tom Kokoza. How you doing tonight, Jen?
I'm good. I'm trying to think if I had anything exciting happen to me this week. I didn't have anything prepared. I don't think I did. It's just like the first week back to work after, well, I've been working the whole time, but back to reality, let's say. The kids are back to school and we got through the first week back. Everyone survived and I'm ready to talk Wheel of Time again.
Yeah. There's so much to talk about that we got a lot of information over this last week. Right, Tom?
I beg to differ, Joe. I feel that unfortunately, as this week was a surprisingly slow news week.
Oh, my mistake. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But we'll soldier on nonetheless, right? We'll.
I know.
Something. I don't know.
It was a little disappointing because, we got the teaser and, all that, the date, the release date. And, I remember everybody, we were all like, yeah, this is it. Now we're going to start getting stuff, right? Then we got the casting. We're like, oh, this is great. We're going to be getting stuff like almost every week now. And then we got Jimmy Fallon dressing up as Logain. That's what we got.
It's something.
That's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's like stupid, but a lot of people watch Jimmy Fallon that now have heard of the Wheel of Time.
That is true.
Who hadn't before.
That's great exposure. They need to get Alvaro Morte on there and do some sort of like Logain off or something like that. Like, I don't know. I need to see that. So make it happen.
Start the show, have him host.
There was a comment out there that the robes were like exact.
Oh yeah.
Let me actually can I explain what we're talking about for
yeah,
anybody
I think
who
that would
doesn't see
help.
it? So Jimmy Fallon on it's the Tonight Show, right?
Yeah.
He has a segment, I guess, where people send him pictures of people that viewers send in photos of, I guess, actors or other people that they think Jimmy Fallon looks like. So Jimmy shows the pictures of the people and then he dresses up and then they do a side-by-side comparison. So one of the photos that somebody sent in was of Alvaro as Logain in the blue robe from season 2. So Jimmy, pulled up the picture, said this is from the show Wheel of Time. This is Alvaro Morte. And then somebody came out with the robe and he put it on and he put on like a fake mustache and hair and they did a side-by-side comparison.
Pretty good.
He did actually look a lot like him in that
the eyes. It's the eyes. They have somewhat similar eyes.
Yeah, especially with the downward angle of both of them.
Yeah.
But the robe was like the exact same robe, like the same pattern and everything. So I think somebody had conjectured was this like a setup on the part of the Wheel of Time. And then they sent the exact robe. It was
Prime
really
that
true?
sent in the thing, not whoever they said it was that sent it in?
Well, no, I don't know.
Now, do you think that Prime did it anonymously, or do you think that it was like Jimmy Fallon show was in the know that Prime sent this in?
It was all an inside job.
Yes.
Media ruse.
Yeah. Or was Prime playing a trick on Jimmy?
I don't know. I feel like somebody said this. I don't know if I actually believe it because of the way he had no idea what the show was or never heard of it before. So
maybe that was him acting.
Maybe it was him acting.
I've seen Jimmy Fallon act before. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the robe was exact. It did look
enough.
It was very close though. It was a lot of fun. I think that's it for newsy things. Joe and I talked earlier in the week about how we mentioned last week that Rafe and some of the writers were in Japan for New Year's and they were doing stuff, and perhaps this was a retreat to get ready. It really does look like it's more of a vacation, but maybe it's a really in-depth retreat.
Yes. Well, it could be like, let's go on vacation before we hit the books.
Let's do it.
Which is what I'm going to choose to believe.
I like it.
So it's
like
true, right? That's what most people do. They just choose to believe things for no reason or just for strange reasons. And then deny when facts are brought to them that it's not true.
That's right.
So I'm gonna choose to be willfully ignorant.
It's the way I get through life every day. So yeah, I'm all for that.
Yeah, also, Light Blinded Fool just posted the side-by-side photo in our chat and Discord. I don't think, if Prime sent it, I don't think it would be a picture that somebody took on their television with the X-ray up.
Jen, did you send this in?
No, they said the person's name, and I'm shocked that we didn't recognize it from, like, the online community.
Well, it could be someone from the online community. We really don't know most of their real names.
I hope it's not, because that means that other people are watching the show that we don't know about, and that's what we need. But, yeah, like... That's definitely a picture somebody got up in front of their TV and paused it and took a picture on their phone,
you see the Amazon Prime X-ray on the screen.
Yeah, and the name of the episode.
You see Yoshi's name as Rand, and they're in
I was mad because he was saying Alvaro, but clearly there's an accent over the first A.
Yeah, Alvaro.
That's Alvaro. Whatever, he'll learn.
Anyway, some good publicity, I guess, for the Wheel of Time. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people were probably like, "That's the guy from Money Heist." And what is he's doing? He's in that play now, Barcelona.
Yeah, I think it's just ending.
Barcelona with Lily Collins.
Yes, that's right.
I don't even know where that was happening. Was that happening in
England,
London?
I think.
London?
Yeah, London.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's what I figured. So don't go see that because it's over. Anyway,
I'm pretty sure it is. I mean, you could try, but it won't be there.
we got no news this week, so maybe that means we're getting something next week. We're getting close. We're a little over 2 months away. We're getting into trailer territory, right? I believe for the first 2 seasons it was about 7 or so weeks, 6-7 weeks, or somewhere in that area. When the trailer came out before the date, so we could potentially get something by the end of this month or as late as early February. So
as late as early.
We'll have to do this. We promise this time when the trailer comes out, we will do a live stream, so that way when we're talking about scenes and things, people can actually see what we're talking about instead of just listening. And us, we'll still read off the timestamps though, because some people just listen. So anyway, I'm babbling on and on. Let's get into today's topic. What are we talking about?
Keep thinking you're freezing.
No,
I feel like
freezing. I am freezing, but not in the internet sense of freezing. I'm more. It's just more of a life freezing thing.
It sounds to me like you told somebody, you promised somebody we were going to go 45 minutes to an hour tonight, and you're worried we only have a half an hour's worth of material.
We are going to be talking.
No contractions.
What is that from, Tom? What is that a show, right?
A mighty wind. A mighty wind.
Oh, a mighty wind. Okay.
And then he's like,
Anyway, we're going to be talking some more about season 3, what we think is going to be happening there. We're going to go a little bit more in depth, though, and talk about a specific thing, the White Tower. We're going to talk about what we think is going to be happening in the White Tower, specifically in season 3. We did give you our season 3 episode breakdowns, but we're going to go really more in depth. We're going to kind of talk about what happens in the books there and dissect that a bit as well. So season 3, the White Tower. So I guess the question is, where do we start? Because right there, they did some of book 3, but they didn't do all of book 3. Are they going to go back and do some more things from book 3? Are there going to be things from book 2 in season 3? Who the hell knows? We don't know. So I'm just going to take it back to the very beginning of The Dragon Reborn. There's a lot of White Tower stuff in that book, but it's almost all Egwene, Nynaeve, and Elaine, and from their points of view. Sorry. So I mean, we're gonna get probably a little bit of that in this next season. So I kind of want to get your guys' thoughts on this. Right? It starts off like the first scene is in the tower, right? Because there's the whole journey back from Falm. There's some scenes there, but when they get back to the tower, Varen meets with Swan. So this is one of the few points of view that's not one of the three girls. So it's Varen brings the horn back to the tower, talks to Swan about it. Obviously, the dagger is in there with the horn. So let's just stop right there. All right. Varen's not bringing anything back.
No.
It's gone.
Is somebody bringing the horn and dagger to the White Tower?
The horn's gone.
The horn disappeared into the vortices of
Is
Is it really gone now? We don't know that.
Yeah, it's gone.
It could be on the floor right there, and actually, no, it would be down the stairs.
No, she put it in her coat, in her cloak. It disappeared.
So are we to believe then that the horn? Rafe just said, "Let's just take the horn out of the show now, and we'll just bring it back in the last season."
Yeah, or not at all. But yeah, I guess you need it, right? I don't know.
It's gonna come back.
You need the horn. Oh, look. I mean, now I'm just gonna be cynical, but if Matt's going to have a storyline eventually in this series, and character development, right? The horn is what's hanging over his head. It's what
It keeps him tied to Rand more than just being Ta'Veren. Like he's connected, and the Aes Sedai know it, and other people know now that he's tied to the last battle, and he needs to be there.
Right, exactly, and he knows it. He as much as he wants to run away from everything else, he understands that I'm trapped by this thing, and it's kind of my destiny to be involved with it.
So
right?
So we're saying no horn and dagger going back to the White Tower. It's not going to be stashed in some safe, secure room. It'll just be magically, revaporated when it needs to be.
I don't know what happens with I don't know about the dagger, but the horn.
Was he going to go back up to the wall and go, oh, yeah, I found this lion there after the battle?
Yeah. She just went like this, but
it could be. It could
behind her.
It could be like when they disappeared, it dropped there, and then he just goes down and collects it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make any sense that she took it, because why did it exist in the world? Unless it was just placed in the world. So
Matt could remember.
But now I have to try to remember. Where did it come from? Oh, it was in.
It was in the throne.
Shinar.
It was in Shinar, under the throne. Come on, Jen. How can you?
How long was it there? Centuries?
Who knows?
Yeah. So why would it all of a sudden not exist in the real world? And after
maybe it's back under the throne. Maybe that's where
it goes. It
revaporates too. I don't remember.
Who's
Is that
even
the word
living there? I feel like it goes back, but there's just nobody in the throne room. It's like crickets. Like who's taking over there?
Oh my gosh,
that's a whole nother episode. Varen also tells Swan about the Shanchen. She kind of reports back on, tells her, gives her the lowdown on the Shanchen, and that they collar women. They have these tirangriels that they use to collar women to channel and force them to channel. So, I guess the question, that's probably information that Swan's gonna need to know. Actually, she doesn't really need to know it in the sense of the story. It doesn't affect anything, for her.
She does, but if we're starting the season with Nynaeve coming in and as a witness against Leandrin, then she knows all this already.
Yes. Well, yeah.
These conversations have happened.
So we're going to assume that Egwene, Elaine, and Nynaeve have already been debriefed. Because that's part of this too that happens here. So I guess we're just going to assume that happened already.
Yes.
So she's going to know. All right. So she knows about the Shanchen. She knows about the horn being blown. As to where the horn is, we don't know. And the well, let's not talk about the dagger because that has no bearing on this. Well, it does have bearing on this because Fane winds up going to the tower in the prologue of Fires of Heaven because the dagger's there, and that's where he intersects with Elida for a brief moment and potentially is the cause of Elida being even more horrible from that day forward.
That really messes with her, right? Tangles with Alviarin briefly.
Yes.
Yeah, so, right, so is a Matt healing sitch happening this season in the tower?
That's here as well. Like, I didn't even get to that part yet, but yeah, that's the whole thing.
I don't think think about Matt in season 2. Does he need to be healed?
No, I don't think so, right? He seems
doesn't make any sense.
Better than he's ever been before.
He's feeling pressure from the dagger, but like as far as heal, unless they're just like separating him so that he can be near it and not feel like the way he felt.
I don't know.
But it's weird because like he sat there and stared at it and then like just hooked it up to the bed frame and was good. Like he had it with him the rest of the time and he wasn't like suffering.
No.
Well, I mean, I think, Brendan talked about it a lot when he was on. Like, he's like, that's like, the dagger is like an addiction thing, right? And like, here's the thing where like, this is a fantasy equivalent of a character overcoming his addiction. And like, you don't need to go, okay, good job, but we're really going to do it now. Right. So I don't think you need to have the healing stuff there, but like we think Matt's going to be in the tower for a while, so maybe, I don't know, or maybe he's who knows, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary.
So yeah, so we're going to say no healing, no healing, no dagger.
No healing, no dagger, no horn. We're saying no healing, no dagger, no horn.
No
healing, no dagger, no horn. Well,
oh my.
The dagger can still go there.
Well, if it goes
right. I think Matt is gonna still have it at this. Like but
it's not being stored away anywhere. Or do you think it is? You think like,
I don't know if they take it away from him and say like, you can't have this. What are you, nuts?
You're right. That's true. They could, because I mean, we still don't know how the dagger got it. How Fane got the dagger. There's no even close to an explanation of how that happened.
Wasn't easy. That's all you get.
That's all we know. Wasn't easy. But yeah, it makes sense that they would say, "Oh, this thing's dangerous. Let's lock it up in the tower somewhere."
Right.
Okay, so that could still happen. Yeah. All right. We'll see what.
Yeah. Well, wait. So the dagger was in the tower already.
The dagger was
like Maureen threw a blanket over it,
and that's all. That's the lesson.
And then I think we could assume that they brought it back to this.
You could assume.
Like what? You can't leave it there with a blanket thrown over it. So then, and they don't have it. So that means that there's a scene that exists, or in our minds, where Fane already went to the tower and got it, or Leandrin gave it to him, or something.
I mean, if you go through this kind of Occam's razor thing there's a scene at the beginning of season 2 where Aes Sedai and Fane are in a room together.
Yeah, a dark front in the dark front social. Right.
So yeah, I have your stuff.
Here's your shit. Get out.
They have gloves on, so she could like hand it to him.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. Because I was gonna say, like, if Fane already went there to get it, would he go back again to get it like 2 seasons later?
Well, maybe she brought it to him.
Yeah.
Right.
And gave it to him at the Dark Friend Social. Because we don't see him with the dagger at the Dark Friend Social. Like, it's not visible.
You don't see it. You don't think you see his like waist.
Yeah. So it potentially maybe one of those Dark Friends gave it to him. And one of them was an Aes Sedai who somehow got her hands on it. Black Aja, perhaps. We don't know. So in the next thing that happens in the Dragon Reborn in the White Towers, right? This is the debriefing of the girls, right? They meet with Swan. They tell her Leandrin's Black Aja. Swan's like, yeah, no shit. She's like, she left with 12 other sisters and some Tyr Angriel. And then she gives the girls a punishment, tells Elaine and Egwene that they're to be raised to accepted. And then she also relays that Morghese was was bi and not happy because Elaine wasn't there. We talked about this last time.
Where Gaze was bi?
Yeah, she was bi. That's
B-Y. Not
Yes.
B-I.
yeah, she was bi.
Bi and
By the White Tower. She was, ran by the White Tower, was angry that Elaine wasn't there, told Swan that when Elaine gets back, send her home. She even tried to get Galad and Gowan to go back, but they didn't go. So I guess we're bypassing a lot of this stuff too, because it sounds like the revelation will probably happen during that scene. The first scene that we've heard about and they showed at CCXP. Do you think there's going to be another conversation, though, after that of Swan with Nynaeve, Elaine, Egwene?
Yeah, I think you're gonna get something like this, and I think that might be like your part of your impetus to say, Egwene, you're gonna get your accepted test right now, or whatever. You could throw a lot of fireballs from on top of a building. I think you're ready for your accepted exam.
Where a lot of people are correcting us in chat because
Yeah.
Jane had the dagger in season 1 at the end, so
How
unless the Dark
embarrassing.
Friends social happened prior.
Yeah, he just gets it into Darvalon, like someone said, and they might be right. Len never takes it out of the room. He just puts a blanket over it.
It's
They
like-
get all the kids out.
It's like somebody
and then Faye
just
just comes
vomited
in
on
and
the
like,
floor. He just covers it up and leaves.
Sawdust.
so some sawdust down. That's it.
This cleaning staff will take care of this.
All right.
Oh,
Awesome.
Lan. Then you know what? You deserve everything you got from Moraine if that's what happened. So I'm sorry, Tom. We're going back to whether there's a conversation with Swan and the girls. I guess after the whole big bonkers women shredding each other scene.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that there will be, but I think it's probably going to be like as part of like, well, Egwene, you've certainly powered up by your experience. You're ready for your accepted test, and like just use that to kind of propel it along. I kind of wonder whether they're going to continue the really accurate, like Swan is not a great Amerlin on the show, like not good at her job kind of a vibe, and have her just go like, that's not really that important. I'm going to ignore everything that you're telling me right now about the Shanshan. Like it's not a threat that I can. Or they left. It's fine.
Oh, you think
Let's
she's
move
gonna
on.
like downplay or minimize the Shanshan threat, and that's like another
Yeah, I
one
think
of
she's
her
gonna have-
steps.
Yeah, I think so. Although,
Even though
yes,
they told
I
her
think
like
so.
one of the blue sitters was dead.
Right.
And
Right.
and the other four Aes Sedai, who was it, Rima, and who was it, three others?
Well, everybody else was dead except for Rima.
Yeah, but I'm saying like
Yeah.
Swan doesn't know that. They don't know that those
Right.
people are dead. So now they're bringing that information back. There's
Right.
got to be a scene of the exchange of
Yeah.
the rings, right? Nynaeve's probably gonna. That might even. Ooh, I wonder if that happens in the scene now, right? The scene where Nynaeve outs Leandrin. I wonder if it happens there or not. But anyway,
The rings.
I could see an extra scene happening though of them, because that's a great place again for us to learn that Egwene and Elaine are going to be raised to accepted. They're going to get their test because we know that that's going to happen.
I love the thinking like Egwene went through all of that and they're like, okay, you're ready to take your acceptance test. And they're like, oh, Elaine, you're ready too. Come on. Like, I just think that would piss Egwene off.
You did all that, and Elaine, you got hit with an arrow.
Well,
so.
I mean,
You're good.
if you want to get even more pissed, Elaine takes her test before Egwene does in the books.
Oh, I thought they took it at like the same time. Well, yeah.
No, it's like right after each other's.
Okay.
Because Egwene goes to Varen. There's the whole scene with her and Varen and the Dream Tear Angriel, which also happens later on, and that's Egwene's taking her test during that time, I think.
Elaine is.
Elaine is taking her test at that time.
Okay.
But I think it's a good spot to give that information that the two of them are going to be taking their accepted test, and also that I don't know. Did they take ter'angreal? Did the Black Aja leave the tower with ter'angreal? And if so, are we going to see those being used? Is there going to be the whole thing? Because I mean, there's the Dream ter'angreal. They take a lot of Dream ter'angreal, plus the Balefire Harad.
Yeah.
You know what? Yes, let's put all of that shit in this season. I think there's a good. I do think there's a good chance that the Dream ter'angreal are gonna be a focus of it, right? They started building Tel'aran'rhiod in season 2. They've like it's clearly going to be a big part of season 3, and I think like in much the same way that the books do. Like, there's no real good reason that the Black Aja take the Dream ter'angreal except to like show the reader that the dream world is important. Like, they don't have a plan; they just steal it. And
well, they're using it to spy on. That's what.
Yeah, but it's not like right. It's not like it's not a big deal.
I can just see them go into somebody goes to the storeroom with like a sack and just like pushes their arm along the shelf, just like as much stuff as you could grab, and like
it just happened to be all 1
minute. Just take see what we get.
Like supermarket spree or whatever.
Yeah,
supermarket sweep.
Yeah, I think it's funny because if memory serves, it's been a little while, but like. It's not like that. Like, it's remarked that they don't do that. That it's like very very specific what they took.
Yeah, they took a lot of Dream ter'angreal. That's like
the Dream ter'angreal and a Balefire rod. And that's what they
things
took.
That were suspected to be Dream ter'angreal. Some of them, I think, they didn't even know what they were. But I think because
the Black Aja seem to have known. Yeah.
Well, it's somebody. It's Lanfear or somebody who I think orders them to take. I don't remember. I don't know if they say it outright, but I'm pretty sure it's. Somebody tells them to take those, like it's ordered from somebody. Whether it's Lanfear or I wouldn't be Moghedian at this point. It could be Lanfear or it could have been a Shamael as a prior order because they in the books they've left already, like 10 days before the girls get back. I don't know how long it takes them to get from Fallen back there.
Well, it's literally across the entire continent.
No, I know. So it's while they're traveling that the Black Aja leave. So Shamael's been dead for a while, so I don't know, maybe it wasn't him. Or maybe it was him. Maybe it was a previous order, and now that they know the girls are coming back, everything had to get bumped up because Leandrin's been exposed.
Well, no, Ishi's not really dead yet. Right?
Well, in the books, he's
Dragon
dead.
Reborn, not a Dragon Reborn.
Not Dragon Reborn. He doesn't die until the end of that.
Oh, that's right.
He's only second dead.
Yes, you're right. I'm sorry. Oh, God.
Yeah, kill him 3 times, Joe. He's like he's Super Mario villain.
So this might have been in a Shamael order.
Yeah. What about Masana? When does she start?
She's in the tower right now. Like there's a mention. There's a part in I think it's the next book where she's mentioned.
Yeah, so could have been her too.
Well, not Masana, but spoiler alert: the Aes Sedai Danelle.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah,
no, you don't see Masana yet. I don't think until much later. Yeah, like as Masana.
No, I know, but she's Danelle.
Yes,
Danelle's a real person. Yeah,
she's referenced in the next book, I believe. Danelle. Yeah. So yeah, I think it makes sense to have the girls have a scene with Swan, and then I don't know. Is it like that at that moment that she's like, all right, you guys need to go to Tanchico after them?
No, I don't think. Sorry, Jen.
It's okay. If it opens with this fight, then I think like they're gonna. You're saying like a debrief from Tanchico? No,
from Falm.
Falm, but I feel like then we need like a debrief of like the fight, like what, like she'll like talk to them about it, and like so they all left, they took whatever. Like even if we see some of it, we're not gonna know everything that happened. So, and then. I don't think that they're going to go right away, especially if like Egwene and Elaine have to take their accepted tests.
No, I'm not saying that they leave right then, but that Swan's like, all right, listen, you're going to take your accepted tests, and then I need you to go after them to Tanchico because I don't know. Again, in the books, the reason she sends them is because she doesn't know who she can trust, and they're the only people she's sure of that aren't Black Aja, except for Moraine. But Moraine's busy.
She doesn't even now. She kind of thinks Moraine might be black.
yeah, exactly. So that's so even more why she sends them, because she knows that.
Actually, no. Maureen it's so different now. I don't even know. Like, are Swan and Maureen gonna like make up now that Maureen is supposedly in Tarvalon?
No.
And they're not gonna see each other.
There's a scene of them together in the teaser, in the love shack.
Yeah, but that could, I don't believe it.
Yeah.
That could be Teleron Riyadh or like whatever or something.
Yeah, it could be another alternate.
It could be anything. It could literally be anything.
It could be one of her. Something she sees in Ruin.
Yeah, there's a scene of like Ishamel and Rand laying in bed together. You know, like it could be anything.
Is it Lanfear? Is one of them Lanfear? Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe they're both
Could be.
Lanfear.
Yeah. It's like the two Mats.
Max on Max.
But
it's weird. It's gonna be weird when like she's like, okay, I need you girls to take your accepted test, and then like Egwene's like, oh, I took it, but I'm not going where you want me to go. I'm going to the waste now.
Yeah. I think that, man. So I guess here's my next question in regards to that. Like, I think in our 99.6% accurate episode breakdowns, we don't have the girls leaving for Tanchico until like mid-season. So
yes, we have them like in the end of episode 2 or something, arriving in episode 3, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Or I think wasn't it like they leave in 3 and then in 5 they're there, and like 4 is like that.
I think
or maybe they leave at 2 and then 3 is like the white is the sea folk stuff with them. Right?
Yeah, it's the initial scenes of them in Tanchico, and then they're not in episode 4.
Yeah, but so the question then is like, do they at any point interact with Elaine's brothers?
Well, yeah. So there's
yes,
that has to happen. I can't see that not happening. Right, there's.
Does Egwene meet Gowan?
Yes, I think they're going to meet the two of them. They're definitely meeting them. You can't not do that. This is the perfect opportunity. They're all going to be in the same place.
Okay.
What I don't know is how they're like, are they just going to know that they went to Tanchico? Because in the books, right, we're in the books in The Dragon Reborn, we're talking about Tyr, not Tanchico, but we're kind of swapping this out, right? The reason they find out, or the reason they figure out that they're going to Tyr is right, Else Grinwell shows up, and says, "Oh, the Amerlin, wanted me to tell you where the Black Aja stuff is, their belongings. They have it down in the storeroom." And then they go there, and it's just items that are, right, there's bags labeled with each Aes Sedai, and then there's items in there that clearly indicate Tyr, that they're going to Tyr. And then they go and they talk to Swan again, and Swan's like, "What are you talking about? Else left the tower 10 days ago, and we burned all their belongings." And then you're like, "What?" It's like a Sixth Sense type of thing there. So are we going to get any of that? Are we going to get, because it's Lanfear, obviously. We know it's Lanfear, because they actually wind up seeing her outside when they go after Else. It's just Lanfear. They describe like the woman in the white. And
she runs around the corner.
And she uses like compulsion on Egwene, I think, basically. So are we going to get something like that? It's a really cool scene in the books. I would really love to see something like that.
Yeah, because they also, right, they find about Tanchico because they have a couple of the Black House that are captured, and there's like 2 different stories.
Well, they torture them, basically.
They do.
They basically torture them. That's in Tyr. That's at the end of, right in the beginning of the Shadow Rising there, the Black Aja they captured.
Yes.
Is it Joanna Miko?
Yeah, and I think then Slayer kills one of them, I believe, right?
Kills them both.
Oh, kills them both, yeah.
But nails one of their tongues to the wall, the one that told them, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Awesome.
So.
He seems nice.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool dude. So do we get a scene like that? Do we get a fake Else Grinwell misleading, leading them down and giving them clues? And they know it's a trap. As soon as they go down there and see the Tyr stuff, they're like, this is way too obvious. They want us to go to Tyr. It's got to be a trap.
Right.
And they're not fooled by it. But then like the other stuff where they find out like, no, that stuff's burned. I don't know where the hell is that stuff? Like, where'd you get that stuff from? And it's all planted by Lanfear, of course. Yeah, are we getting any of that?
I don't know.
It would be interesting because I can see the whole motivation, Lanfear doing that, and the whole motivation just to get them away from, like, get Elaine and Egwene away from Rand, thinking that Egwene's going to go.
Well, it's not as far as Falm, but
yes.
Yeah, I mean, Tenchico's pretty far too.
Well, plus the Black Aja there, so she's probably like, yeah, let's send them. Yeah, go ahead, go after the Black Aja. They'll get themselves killed, and she'll tip them off anyway to let them know that the girls are coming.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, there's no Else Grinwell character. There's
No.
like what? There's one other novice that has any lines
Two.
at all. Two.
The one carrying the laundry.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it could be one of them, I guess.
would Lanfear send them
Well, none of them
to Moghedien after, like, I don't know, I feel like she wouldn't want to give Moghedien any chance to, like, do something good.
Well, none of the girls have seen Lanfear, have they? They don't know what she looks like, right? So she could just be in the White Tower pretending to be an Aes Sedai. Like, just goes up to them and, like...
Swan knows what she looks like.
No, just like in the scene in the books, right? Else Grinwell just shows up at their door and tells them this.
I don't know, that's
she could show
dangerous.
up at their door, you know, their in the quarters and say, hey, you know, the Amerlin, I'm Lanfear Sedai, Miran Sedai.
Lanfear Sedai. I mean, damn it.
Nuts.
No,
Never
so
mind.
they just go
Compulsion.
they just go to Tenchico. There's clues left behind. Swan says there's all signs indicate they're headed to Tenchico. She does a magic 8-ball. All signs point to Tenchico.
Get in, we're going to Tenchico.
She's the Pepe Silvio wall up in everyone's coach.
That's right, Barney. So Jen, what about you? You think we get a scene like that in this show or no?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's so fun.
I don't know.
I love those types of scenes.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we need it.
There's a lot of Sheriam in this too, obviously in the Dragon Reborn. There's the whole scene with the Gray Man and Sheriam, but we know we're not getting Sheriam, so I'm guessing this whole scene's is getting cut and not going to be in the. It's another cool scene too. There's a lot of cool scenes in the tower in the Dragon Reborn. It's like murder mystery. So no Gray Man?
No,
Okay.
Gray Man. I
Gray
think
Man,
that's
no.
We scrap the healing of Matt. That also happens in this. All right, the Twisted Stone Ring. Right, this is a big scene in that book. It's obviously important because this sets in motion a lot of things that happen with the girls being able to access Tel'aran'rhiod with the ring. So this is so Swan sends Egwene to go get like some notes or whatever, right? That Varen had put together about the Aes Sedai, the Black Aja that left, and then Varen gives her the ring, tells her about it, right? Corianna Nadale is studying it. She was the last known dreamer, and then there's a POV from Varen where there were notes, Corianna's notes, but she didn't give the notes to Egwene.
She wanted to learn it on her own.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's a little hint.
Yeah, it's definitely a hint.
Something. Yeah.
But are we going to get the Twisted Stone Ring Tirangrial? Egwene would have to get it, or they would have to get it before anyone leaves the White Tower, the three of them.
But that means she has to learn, like, that she's a dreamer and, like, figure out that she's a dreamer. Because we've got like no indication of that at all yet, right?
Did she have a dream in the second season or on the no?
I don't think so.
Well, she's in Teleran Riyadh
Rand.
when
Yeah,
Rand
but that's
goes
like
there.
Rand going into her dream.
We don't even know what that is, to be honest with you. Like, there's no explanation.
I
of how
know.
the mechanics
like, why
of
is
that
her
work.
dream? Her dream is her sleeping on the floor. Like that's her dream. What's
Yes.
actually happening?
She's been broken.
I don't know.
Well, she's
Yeah,
not
that
even
was
broken at
weird.
that point.
I don't know. Like the whole reason she goes to the waste is to learn about dreaming. So I feel like you can't like cut that out. It's
No,
a big
you're
part
right.
of-
And the whole thing is that, right, she gives them the ring because she can go and tell her Riyadh already on her own, and they need the ring because this is much later in the book.
yeah.
That whole part with them taking the ring to Tanchico, I guess at this point, because no, it's at Ibu Dar. That's when they take it and split up.
Okay.
So I don't know. I would like them to have the ring, but I guess they technically don't need it. But then
The other girls need it.
That's true. They do need it.
But I feel like I don't know, unless Varen unless they figure out that she's a dreamer and then like somebody suggests that she go, or they just gonna do the same thing where she runs into a like a Mies in the dream and she's like, well, now you gotta come here.
Yeah. I mean, she does use the ring, the Tirangrial, in this book to go into the, Teleran Riyadh. So, I mean, she could still use, I don't know, maybe they use it once before they leave the tower and then she gives it to the girls like, hey, you're probably going to need this because you're going after the Black Aja and I'm just, taking a trip to the Isle Waste with Rand and everybody. So I'm probably safer than you are. You're probably going to need it. I could see that happening.
Did we have Egwene leaving before them, like in episode 2? Like
I think so,
really
yeah. I think we do
too?
have them leaving before. So, I mean, I could see her giving it to them, saying, you're going to need this more than I am.
It just doesn't seem like a lot of time to learn about. I don't know. I guess it is. I mean, she's going to do the accepted test. Unless she sees something in the accepted test about dreaming.
That's after.
It's not.
That, I mean, in the books that happen, the accepted test happens right after the scene. You want to hear something really weird? So remember, even in the teaser, right? There's like a mark, a scratch on Egwene's neck, and everyone was talking about it. And I think it's even mentioned that in the other scene that they showed at CCXP, that that part of the scene, it's like Lan and Rand practicing and Maureen and Egwene having a conversation. They actually talk about it, like it's mentioned that like she has that scratch there and it's unable to be healed. In the scene. In the books, it's chapter 21 of The Dragon Reborn, where Varen gives her the Twisted Stone ring. Varen has a scar on her neck, and she mentions that she got it from the one time that she went to Teleran Riyadh. That's where she got it from, and it was Anaya was never able to heal it properly.
Okay.
So I wonder if
From
that's
what, though?
She didn't say.
Oh, like she just got hurt in Teleran
Yeah,
Riyadh?
I don't think she reveals like how it happened, but she got injured in Teleran Riyadh, and Anaya couldn't heal it properly, so it left a scar. So it immediately made me think of that the CCXP bonus scene or whatever, the scene that they showed, because they mentioned it. I wonder if that's a mark that she got in Teleran Riyadh.
Maybe. That makes sense.
Or is it just from the collar?
Well, why wouldn't it be able to be healed?
I don't know. I don't know. I just thought it was cool. I wonder if that was done on purpose. I wonder if Rafe knew this and was like, I'm going to do this I'm going to give this to Egwene.
Rafe knew it.
He knew exactly.
He knows everything.
I'm going to give this mark to Varen. That Varen had in the books to Egwene. I don't know. So what do you think? Twisted, the stone ring.
You keep saying twisted stone. Isn't it twisted stone door frame?
I know it
Twisted
is.
Stone ring.
Is it a stone ring? It's a stone ring.
It's a dream
is it a twisted?
triangle. I don't know. Yeah, I mean it's
because
twisted,
it's
I
like
guess.
a, what's it called? It's supposed to look like a, what is it? A Mobius strip type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do we get the scene? does Varen give Egwene the Tirangriel, the dream Tirangriel? Do we get that, or somebody gives it to her? I can see Swan doing it. But does someone give it to Egwene? Is it in play?
I don't know. Like, would it happen after she went in by herself? Because how would they even know that she had the ability to do this without her already having done it?
Oh yeah, why would she give her this Tirangriel?
Right. Like, unless she just has a dream in the first episode and is like, oh, I've been having these dreams.
Oh, yeah, maybe she goes
the third one this month or something.
Maybe she goes to Varen and says, hey, I've been having these weird dreams, tells her about it, and Varen's like, oh, it sounds like you could be a dreamer. And then says, hey, this other Aes Sedai was supposedly a dreamer, and here's something that she used, and I tried once. Just once.
So then she puts it on, then she goes into Teleron Riyadh, and then she meets Amis. Then at that point? And then
at some point.
I don't know. Yeah.
At some point afterwards.
I mean, it's like, you don't need that.
I mean, in the books, right after this is
give it to your friends.
It's when Egwene gets pulled to take her test. So,
yeah, I don't know.
It doesn't have to happen in this order at all. Obviously, like she could take her test before that. That could be the first thing she does. That could be episode 1 for all we know. Could be the first thing that happens after the bunker scene. There's a meet with Swan, and she says this, and then they go take their test. Who the hell knows? Tom, what about you? You think we're gonna get the dream Tirangriel, the ring, the stone ring?
Yeah. Yes.
It's very gonna give it to her.
Yeah, I think just because so much of like the communication between like Elaine and Nynaeve and Egwene requires those girls to have the dream Tirangriel, right?
Yeah.
So I think you introduce it here, and I think you do something where it's like she has it, she goes into the dream world, and like whatever, she meets the Aiel say like, you're coming, and leave that thing behind. You don't need it.
Yeah.
And then she just gives it to, Elaine and Nynaeve. Says, you use it. I could dream without it. Yay.
I can dream without it. It's a song, right?
I believe that's exactly what the song is.
I don't think we really need to spend much time on accepted tests. I think we've talked about that enough. I mean, the only thing I could say is, do we get Elaine's accepted test? Does Elaine become accepted as well?
So there's that scene in the trailer, right? With she's got the crown on. I think that's a good Teleron Riyadh scene, but it could be an accepted test scene.
Yeah. Too many accepted tests.
Yeah. Cut it for time.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess she should be raised to accept it. I don't know if we're going to see the test, though.
Yeah, she'll have been tested off screen. So after Egwene gets the Tirangriel and takes her test, there's that whole scene that we talked about already when El Scrimwell shows up, and they go into the basement storeroom and they find the items that say Tyr, blah, 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 blah. Egwene goes into Teleron Riyadh. She uses the Dream Tirangriel. She runs into Perrin and Hopper, and also Rand, by the way. And then goes to the Stone of Tyr because she wants to go to Tyr to see if she can, find anything out where she sees Sylvie. This is Lanfear again. Sees Kalendor. Lanfear kicks her out of Teleron Riyadh. She tells Elaine and Nynaeve what happened. Elaine's like, oh, wow, this is wild. I need to get a letter to my mom if I'm leaving, because she's going to go crazy. If not, So that's when the whole thing with Matt happens, where she sends him, and Swan's given them the 2 letters with her seal on it, saying that whatever they do in, at the command of the Amerlin seat or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to get Egwene in Teleron Riyadh, like going to Tanchico because that's where they're suspected to go? Are we going to get any interaction with her and Perrin or Hopper in early on, potentially before she even gets to the Io Waste?
No, I
don't think so.
Yeah, I think any Egwene exploring of Tel'Aran'rhiod is going to be like later in the season.
So they're not even going to test this ring out before she gives it to them. Well, they have to test it out, obviously. Well, she has to test it out because she has to. Well, I guess the question is Amis does she run into Amis in Tel'Aran'rhiod, or is using the Dream Triangle, or does Egwene accidentally dream herself into Tel'Aran'rhiod, and that's how she runs into Amis?
I would say it's with the twisted ring.
Yeah, I would think so too. Like, if you're gonna introduce it, use it, and then, like you said, Tom, then she could give it to Elaine and Nynaeve, saying like, "Hey, I don't need this. I'm going to learn how to do it without this, or I can do this without this." And then, like I said before, they're going to need it because they're going into a much more dangerous situation, it seems, than Egwene is, because she's going to go to the waste.
Which, no danger there.
Well, I mean, like, she's going to be with Rand, Moraine, Lan, a bunch of IEO.
No, I know.
They're going to fight. The 2 of them alone are going to fight 13 Black Aja.
8.
Oh, 8.
Yes.
Well, yeah, sorry, 8.
Probably, yeah.
At this point, there'd be 8. So, and I assume that everyone would know that the Forsaken are free at this point. I mean, I imagine when they were all at Found together, this came up. Now, whether they know, we don't have them necessarily yet knowing that the other Forsaken are free. I think we wrote something in that Lanfear is going to warn Rand about that sometime, potentially in the first episode.
But yeah, I mean, and just to up the ante on like how insane it is to send 2 half-trained girls up against like the opening scene of this season is going to have these Black Aja completely kicking the shit out of everybody, and Nynaeve freezing and not being able to fight them. And we're like,
it makes it look even
this time.
It makes it look even stupider because in the books you don't see what happens and how they leave, and I don't think it's a big spectacle. They kind of leave in secret, which makes more sense. Now you're going to show how dangerous they are, and then say, "Oh yeah, you 2 go after them."
Yeah. Well, remember, show Swan actively bad at her job.
Yes.
So.
I don't know. You're right. This looks even stranger. I don't know. It doesn't make sense in the books. I mean, the explanation is that she can't trust. She doesn't know who she can trust, so she sends them.
Right.
So whatever. And like you said, she's uses a lot of bad judgment.
Yeah.
Calendar.
Maybe it's the kind of thing. I'm sorry. Maybe it's the kind of thing where like they come up with a theory that the Black Aja are in Tanchico, and she doesn't necessarily believe them, but she just wants, like, she's just so, because I do think she's going to be very paranoid about more Black Aja in the tower.
Yeah, well, that's why she doesn't know who to trust.
Right, that she's just like, okay, go there, go after them, go there, that's fine. Like, she's not, maybe it's not that she's sending them after them, more than, like, they have she's sending them out of the tower. Like,
it just
because it really does.
They just happen to go to where the Black Aja are, like
they're like, she doesn't believe that they're right and they are right, that kind of a thing. Like, they have a theory that the Black Aja are in Tanchico. She doesn't necessarily believe them, but like otherwise, like it's fucking nuts.
It is nuts. It's a lot of nuts.
That's a lot of nuts.
It is. It certainly is. I mean, the other thing I could think of, and this is dumb because this is what basically happens in the season prior, is that while Egwene's in Tel Riyadh, she potentially walks into a meeting of the Black Aja or the Forsaken, and she learns something's going to be going down in Tanchico, and then they just take it upon themselves to say, well, we got to go stop this.
Mm.
And it, like, whatever it is that's going down is going to be, I mean, it could be the sad bracelets, right? It could be they're going there to get something to use against Rand. I mean, and it could be even explicit. They could even say there's a dom for that they can use on mail channelers. And they're like, oh shit, we got to get that before they do. And Swan might not send them. They just might be like, if they get their hands on this, that's pretty bad.
Right.
I don't know.
That makes sense, actually.
It makes more sense than Swan sending them, even though that's what happens in the books.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah. So what I was going to say before was Kalendor, right? Because this is where we first get is this the first time we see Kalendor in the books? Is when Egwene goes to the Stone of Tyr?
Oh.
In Tel Riyadh?
Yeah, I think the first time we see it. It's not the first time that we hear about it.
No, it's the first time it's seen, though, in the books. Yeah. So, I mean, is Kalendor going to be... We didn't put it in, but is Kalendor going to be in this season?
Yeah, I think it is, but not like that, right? I think we teased that... Or we think that it'll be teased in the columns, right?
Oh, it could be in a flashback scene. I mean, at one point, we had also said, right, there's... And we didn't put this in, I don't think, our breakdowns, but we talked about the Choden Kal. We had heard about the magical orb that Moraine finds, and now we see it in the teaser. And we also, we kind of put out a theory that maybe that's the female Choden Kal, and then Kalendor is the male Choden Kal.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that might be right. And I think that you can kind of, like I said, that you put that in there as like just a something for Chekhov's gun for Bran to have to get later.
Yeah, I mean, that's where she could run into Amis too, because if that's in Ruidian, I forgot. Can they enter Teleron Riyadh and can they enter Ruidian and Teleron Riyadh? I feel like they can't.
No, I don't know if they can.
I think so.
Yeah, so.
It's that magical mist.
That's just easy for them to say, yeah, they can.
It's also true.
Rick could just be like, no, they can. Don't worry about it. It's not like it matters anywhere like later on, I think. I think there might be one or two other times. But it's not like consequential, I don't think. Yeah, I don't know. I like all those ideas. Let's put them all in. Let's have them all in.
Okay.
You can fit them in. And thus really ends the Dragon Reborn part of the White Tower. This is basically everything that happens there. Because the girls leave and then you don't ever see the White Tower again in this book. So
right.
So we got the Shadow Rising, which we think is going to be a lot of what happens in the White Tower and Shadow Rising is going to be in season 3. There's only really 3 chapters that happen in the White Tower. And it all happens most of it happens from Min's perspective. So we have Min not staying in the White Tower. We have her leaving with I don't remember who she's leaving with now. With Elaine and Nynaeve, I think we have her, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think we got rid of her going with Matt because Jen, you were vehemently against that. And we crumbled.
Thank you for crumbling.
So in the books, Min arrives in Tarvalon. She's got the long hair and the dress, changed her appearance a bit. It doesn't look like that's happening in the show. She's just wearing some nicer clothes. It looks like, at least from the one scene we saw her in the teaser, she's got nicer clothes on. She starts seeing images around the Aes Sedai waters of death and violence and all kinds of bad things. which is, the foreshadowing of what's going to be coming up. Do we get Min having those types of visions in the White Tower in the beginning of the season? It would have to be at the beginning of the season, I guess. I don't know. We don't have Min at the White Tower, so a lot of this is going to be different, but...
Well, right? I mean, I think we changed it, because originally, you wanted Min to go with Leandrin, and then,
I didn't want
beat
that.
up with her. I thought you did want that.
No, Jen wanted that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then we're like, well, we have one of the Elida audition scripts was her having a conversation with Min, so chances are she is there. Or there's a foreteller to foreteller tete-a-tete. So yeah, I want that to be the case. I want her to have that, was that Cassandra who's could tell the future but no one believes her?
Yeah, what's his name's sister? Paris?
Yeah.
I think.
So, and Hector, I guess. But, yeah, I think, I want that desperately to be in there. But, so I guess this is, and spoiler alert, this is why I asked this, maybe we can talk about this tonight. Is the tower coup going to be bloody? Because if it's not going to be bloody, then she's not going to see any images around people.
That's true. That's a great question. Now, we know, right, this scene in the CCXP scene, the first scene of the show or the season, apparently, is not the coup.
Right.
Now, there were leaked images of what appeared to be warders or tower guard in the White Tower, bloodied, and bodies as well. These were set photos, it was a couple of set photos that were leaked a while ago.
Way back when.
So we know that there's going to be some sort. Now, are those scenes or those photos from the beginning of the season when the Black Aja leave? I don't know. It could be. We have no idea. We didn't see those scenes at CCXP. If we saw them, maybe we could tell you because we might recognize something. Originally, we had thought that those were the Tower coup scenes, but now I'm not so sure.
Right. Will the show have two big fights in the White Tower this season? That's really, I guess, the question. Especially in a season that is going to have at least one big battle at the end of the season and possibly another big fight or two big fights in the other two main storylines. Are they also going to have a big fight at the end of the Tower storyline? I
don't know. I think there'll be the one big fight with the Black Aja leaving, and then everything else will be calm and quiet and political.
So then those leaked photos are probably from the beginning, the Black Aja leaving then.
Yeah.
So then there is no Min seeing. Well, none of this is happening, right? We don't have any of this happening because Min's not wandering into Tarvalon by herself. Because apparently they're all going to be in Tarvalon. So I guess there's no her running into Gowan who recognizes her because this is when they go back. This is her going back to the White Tower in the next book. So all the others, Gowan and Galad have already been established. They've been met already. All of that stuff's happened. So, none of this, I guess, makes sense that it would happen. We do learn that there are white cloaks around Tarvalon at this point. And Eamon Valda's there, and they dispatch some soldiers away. They're not in Tarvalon, but they're outside and around Tarvalon. And then this is also where we get, Elida's foretelling the past. Well, the information about the foretelling that she had when she was younger, about the royal line of Andor. And she starts putting pieces together because, again, She's already met Rand before. A bunch of other stuff has happened. She starts putting the pieces together. She knows that Rand's Taviran. She recognizes Min. She knows that Min is friends with Elaine, or friends with Egwene and Nynaeve, who's friendly with Elaine. She starts connecting the dots with the Edmonds Field Five, all of them. And then Alviarin enters the picture. She hears Elaida. I think Elaida's mumbling to herself at this point. Alviarin enters the picture, hears her, and they start conspiring basically on how to take down Swan from there on. Any of this in the show. I mean, we think we're going to get Elaida and Alviarin conspiring.
That's in the show.
That's as much as I think we can say. Do we have the foretelling of, or do we learn about it, that's why she's attached herself to Morghese?
Mm-hmm.
Or do we find that out maybe after she's become Amerlin? Like, that's like...
No, because I think you want to have that knowledge at the same time that, like you can do it next season too, because you want that, like, and then you also find like that. No, the royal line of Andor, key to winning the last battle, might be Rand and his mom, and not even though Elaine is one of the keys, whatever. But like that, there's another royal line of Andor that is pretty important to the last battle.
Yeah, it would be a nice juxtaposition if like this happens in the beginning of the season, and then we learn about Rand's heritage later on. And then it'd be a good little thing to know viewers pick up on. Well, actually, it doesn't really matter because everybody knows Rand's the dragon at this point, so everyone should be aware.
Yeah,
should realize that no, it's Rand that's the royal line. That's the important.
It's the dragon guy
winning the last battle,
right?
It's not Gowan.
Well, but I mean, right? I think to the show's point already, like, nobody thinks the dragon's the key to winning the last battle. They think he's just a tool to be used in the last battle.
Like, no, but her foretelling, I think, is like that he's the key to winning the last battle, right?
So the royal line of Andor is the key to winning the last battle, but like the Aes Sedai don't believe that the dragon, if he's a male, is going to do anything but be pointed and
I see what you're saying.
He's just a gun. Like, he's not the key to winning it. He's just a tool.
Yeah,
like the key has got to be like who's going to lead the people or do something that's actually important.
He's
just got to stand there. And,
she's so ignorant too. Yeah, that she would never believe the dragon would be the key to winning the last battle, even though that's kind of the prophecy.
Right.
Yeah, she should have put that together pretty quickly because it is part of the Carythian cycle.
Whatever. She didn't realize that when she had that foretelling that the Trakens weren't on the throne. Right.
Got that little thing about the timing of it. So, yeah, Lyda, you done screwed up.
Won't be the first time.
This is where we first get. So Min runs into Gawain and Galad, and Galad's reading The Way of the Light, which is the White Cloak Bible.
Fool.
Yeah. So this is our first indication that Galad's going to be a White Cloak. We think we have, something like this might happen. Maybe not Min running into him, but we'll get something of Galad potentially reading a White Cloak field guide. And then it's funny because this is so changed and screwed up. Because then she runs into Logain in the White Tower. Where's Logain going after this in season 3's? We're not even sure if he's going to be in it right there. I feel like Watt series was still on the fence of they think he did.
They don't have any. Yeah, they don't have any confirmation that he's there or not in it. But he is shipped off back to Tar Valon at the end of season 2.
He is? Do we know that for sure?
We don't see him in one of their many cages. But yes, at the end of the scene, the last scene with him, they're like, "No, you're going back to Tar Valon. Like, we've got what we need from you."
Okay. So then it makes sense for him to be at Tarvalon. He went back with
Right.
Swan and Varen and Leandrin and all the other wonderful Aes Sedai who were in Cairhien. And there's another procession and many cages are used.
Many cages.
All the cage makers are happy. They rejoice, right? Min also then has a conversation with Swan. There's talk about the prophet. Now, we could get a mention of reference to the prophet in this season. It would make sense to bring it up.
Yes.
Even if we're not going to see it yet. But if they're going to put the prophet in and Massima in here as the prophet, that's a great. They should mention it in this season.
Are they definitely doing that?
We have no idea. I mean, they could have just done the shot on him looking at Rand, just literally for book readers.
Yeah, right.
Just like, hey guys, we know. It's not going to happen though, but we know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I would say this: I would bet money if they do not mention the prophet or Massima in this season that they're not going to do that story. I'd be very surprised if they did a storyline.
But I would say they've almost every time we're like, oh, they're not going to do this. They're like, yeah, we do. Right? Like they've already name dropped Taim and Cadsuane and and Massima's on the show. Of all of the rando characters they could have had, Channars, they picked him, and they've been out of their way to show that he was like really into looking at the dragon at the end.
That could just be as much as we're getting, man. That just might have been like, hey, say goodbye to Massima.
He's gonna go off, do his own thing.
Yeah. I mean, Uno's gone, so he's the only Shinar left, I guess, from the group. Ingtar's gone, Uno's gone, Agelmar's gone, Lord Yakota is gone. Well, they can bring him back now. Ummer's not doing Willow anymore.
So
anyway, what are we talking about again? Oh yeah, I was saying that when Min meets up with Swan, she mentions the prophet. There's also a message that Thames escaped.
Right.
This is another great setup point. Like, these are great little setup things that I hope that they put in the show. If they're gonna do Tame. I can't see them cutting that.
No.
But
no, yeah. That's all. They didn't mention him for just to mention a name. Like, he's going to be on the show.
I mean, he wasn't captured yet, at least that we know, right?
No.
So I guess they're not going to mention that he's escaped. Maybe that's at the end of the season. Maybe like he's captured in the beginning of the season, we learn, and then we learn at the end of the season. Like maybe when Elida becomes Amerlin, that's like one of the messages she receives with her her retinue of Aes Sedai. And then also that Rand took Kalandor and declared himself the Dragon Reborn, which has happened already. I mean, he's declared himself the Dragon Reborn already, the Kalandor part. I don't think any of this information would come from Min. Well, no. I'm sorry. This is information she's getting from letters. Swan's getting from letters that she's reading while she's having a conversation with Min. But I don't think we're going to get a Min Swan scene at all. I don't think, are we?
No, I think if Min's going to interact with any of the characters on the show, she's going to interact with the people that she might eventually be friends with, right? So I think she should see Elaine and go, oh, okay.
What does that mean?
She already knows that Rand is going to marry 3 women. She's already seen that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we didn't even. Did we talk? Did she see that? She hasn't seen that yet.
Yes, in the first episode, she makes a joke about in the first season about how you're 3 beautiful women, whatever, to Rand.
Oh, okay. So
she does.
So do you think we're going to learn more about that?
Yes.
Like, is she going to reveal what that means, or who? Those
or just act really weird around Elaine and like, trust me, we should get to know each other, kind of a thing.
And is Avienda going to be there too? I mean, Avienda's somehow going to be there. I don't know. We still don't know how that's going to work. Like, they're not going to go in Tarvalon, are they?
No, I don't think.
Yeah.
I think this is all going to happen. Probably, like, I don't think Rand's going to go into the White Tower. Like, I think.
No, I don't think so either.
And I don't think Avienda is either. I think.
Well, this could happen though. It doesn't have to happen in the tower. It could happen in Tarvalon or outside of it. But
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I would like, those are interesting things to learn. You know, besides the Kalendor Dragon Reborn thing, because that doesn't really mean anything at this point. But profiting Geldin and Taim is either captured or escaped. I'd like to hear those things happen. Somehow, some way in a message. There's like also things going on where Swan convenes the hall right after she gets, because that the information that Rand's declared herself the Dragon Reborn, that's a letter from Moraine. Right. And she then convenes the hall after she hears that, because she wants to get them, she wants to share the information with them, and they all vote unanimously to acknowledge that the Rand is the Dragon Reborn. This all happens off book, off page. And while this just happened, Swan's in her study. That's when Elida arrives with 12 other sisters, shields her, binds her, accuses her of treason. All the shit goes down in the tower. We're back at Min's point of view. She was outside. She wasn't in the White Tower, and she comes back and encounters Gawain, who tells her what happened. You know, there's been a coup, people are dead, and he's of course made a bad choice because him and his younglings. I love how they came up with a name so quickly. Like, a tower coup happened and they just came up with a name to call each other really quickly. I don't know. It's a weird thing to think about during time of crisis.
I imagine it's something that my favorite character, Hamar, would call them. Like that's I feel like that's almost like all right, you young people who want to be trained to be warders, that's what we call you. We call you.
Oh, okay.
Like, they took it as a badge of honor.
Yeah, he hears that Hamar is trying to break Swan and Leane free, so he's headed over there to stop him. Swan wakes up. She's stilled, locked up next to Leane. Eventually, Min breaks them free, encounters Gawain, who does not recognize them because of their changed appearance. Min convinces Gawain to help them, and they escape the city and run into Loghain.
Right.
And that's the end of the White Tower in the Shadow Rising. So, we don't have Min. So do we think it's going to be like a Swan? All right. Let's go back to this, right? Are they surviving this? Is Swan surviving? Is Leane surviving this?
You know what? Yes. I think yes. I don't see any reason why she wouldn't. Really. And I think you just do this without Min. I think Leane and I think Loghain breaks them out. You could do something like that. Like,
yeah,
you
how
can
do they
have
break free? Yeah, that's the question, right? Because
what I would say is
Loghain is walking around free because he's he's harmless,
right? And I think you just go like, this is the reveal that he's just been acting crazy for the last year. Like he's
you think he's so wait, you're adding another layer to this. I was just gonna think he's gonna free them.
He's absolutely insane. How is he even gonna find a lock, let alone a key?
Come on, he's not that insane.
Yeah, I mean, he's like really quite mad in season 2. Yeah, I mean, whatever. I think you could do that, or you could have like,
when life or death situations tend to sober people up a bit. So
it's true. Or you can have like even you can have Gawain free them and go like, I thought you should be overthrown, but I don't think you should die, and like he lets them out.
Cowan makes a good decision.
Yeah, well, it's it's still a stupid decision. He's throwing his lot in with Elida, and he's helping Elida's right now probably biggest rival to be free. So yeah, I don't know.
I think Logain can be sane enough to free them. I don't think that's too far fetched.
Yeah, I think you would need to come up with a reason as to why.
Yeah, why?
Maybe the when they bring Leanna and Swan, they lie them down off to the side, and then walk away from them and just leave them there, just like the Shanshin do.
That's it.
And then Logain sneaks over and grabs them.
I
I get there would need to be some sort of reason why though he frees them. There has to be some sort of interaction where like Elida or somebody like treats him like shit even more so than Swan has.
Yeah, I almost think it would be the kind of thing where it's like, he's imprisoned. He's not like wandering the grounds. He's imprisoned. They're imprisoned, and like he gets out in the mess of this, and then like they convince him to to get them out too. Like they're like, hey, if you get us out of here, we'll help you get revenge on. Like Elida's the one who whatever.
Yeah,
you.
It could be a thing that they need his muscle because now they can't channel anymore, so they're kind of almost like helpless. But we haven't like seen anything of Logain being any kind of like fighter or he's been pretty pathetic since he's been unable to channel, and he never, even when we did see him channeling in that episode 4 season 1, he didn't have a sword or any kind of weapon, so we don't even know if he could fight, because that could just be another reason where they could be both escaping at the same time and just run into each other, and I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, I think you want them to link up somehow at the end of this, and I think if you're going to cast Alvaro Morte in the part, right? The idea is like, hey, your part's gonna be important as the show goes on, and this is where it starts to happen, right?
That's a good question. I mean, well, first I want to ask, how far is this? As far as we're going to go the end of the season? Because we do have, right, this is the end of the Shadow Rising, but in the Fires of Heaven, the prologue is a scene with Elida as Amerlin with her Aes Sedai cronies.
I don't think you're gonna have like that full scene, like where they're actually talking and doing shit or whatever. But like, I do think like there's gonna be a capper scene of Elida in the full Amerlin regalia with Alviarin as her keeper. I think you're gonna get that in the last episode.
Yeah, that would make sense. But we won't get any other action, so to speak. Like that's as far as it'll go.
Yeah, it could be like something simple, like she's like one order: bring the Dragon Reborn to me.
Bring me the Dragon Reborn.
Yes,
in Shora's raspy voice. We've talked about the books. We've talked about what we think's going to happen in the show. We talked about how far we think we're going to get into White Tower politics, as far as how far in the story they'll go to. What we didn't talk about was that we have a new patron to thank.
Hey,
look at you. Our new patron. Joining the Dreamwalkers, we have Jason Lampkin.
Thank you.
So thank you so much, Jason, for joining us here. Hopefully you'll, if you're not here tonight, hopefully you will be soon listening live. And thank you for your support.
Yes, thank you, Jason. I also want to remind everyone to follow us on social media. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Blue Sky. Join us over in Discord to continue the conversation there. We also post our episodes on YouTube, so be sure to go to our YouTube page to like and subscribe. Rate and review us wherever you listen to podcasts, and check out our merchandise and Patreon pages to support us that way. Links to all the aforementioned information are included in the show notes to this episode. Final words, Tom, Jen, Tom.
No. I have nothing. No words.
I think, Joe, you hit your mark in regards to the target for how long this episode went.
Thanks everyone for listening, and you'll hear us next time.